Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a little bit different to my usual videos, but I discovered something and I've been on Google and I genuinely think I'm the only person on earth to have discovered this. I found some boots in Primark that are the perfect dupes for designer boots. And I know this has happened a few times and I know Primark does do dupes of other designers, but I think I'm the only person to realise this particular one. So if you saw in my Primark haul last week or the week before, I picked up these amazing chisel toe ankle boots. These were in the sale for £7, which is an absolute bargain. The reason I bought them is because they are identical to a pair of boots that I own, that I spent lots of money on, and I wanted to do a video comparing the two together to see if they are dead dupes, if one is worth more than money, if one's better value for money. So as I mentioned in the Primark haul, my Vagabond boots were actually off being exchanged because my original pair were letting water in. I got these from Shoe, and Shoe has a 365-day guarantee against like manufacturing faults, so if anything goes wrong with your shoes in a year, they'll exchange them for you, which I think is fabulous. I got these just before Christmas. I hadn't worn them very often, but these are my new pair, and as you can tell, they are just so similar to the Primark pair. So these are the Vagabond ones. The reason I want to do this video is because I love a bargain, and I totally get that not everyone has the means to be spending 150 quid on boots. It's ridiculous, really. It's so expensive. I was a student at one point. I didn't have money to spare. Even now, Kyle and I are saving up for our flat. We're about to complete. Oh my god. Once we're in, we're going to be paying a mortgage, and I'm not going to have the same sort of disposable income. So using high street dupes against the designer counterparts, I think is smart. I don't think there's anything embarrassing about that. I think it's a clever thing to do. So that's why I wanted to compare the two. So I'm going to split this video into sort of structured parts just to make it a bit easier. And part number one is design and aesthetic. These are the Primark boots, these are the Vagabond boots, and they are the right boot of each. So overall, they're really similar. It's only when you start to look closer, I think, that you can see the differences. In the Primark one, the heel is slightly higher than the Vagabond one, but only very slightly, only by like a ½ centimetre. I noticed on the Primark one, the seam detailing, or like the stitching detailing, it's not present on the Vagabond. But when we're looking at them from the zip side, the Vagabond boot does have some sort of stitching. It's just in a different place. I think the shape of the toe is almost dead on. I just think that the Vagabond one on this side is slightly more dramatic and slightly more severe than the Primark one. It goes out a little bit longer. It goes out and then in more dramatically. I think the Primark one does a really good job of imitating it, but I think it's just slightly less severe. And in terms of like the finish, the leather, obviously the Primark ones are not going to be leather. I don't know what they are. I mean, that's on the sole of the Primark boot, and that probably does mean something. I just don't know how to read that, and I don't know what that means. I'm going to assume this is some sort of like plasticky pleather, whereas the Vagabond boots are real leather. And I mean, they're both shiny. I think the Primark faux leather, I think it looks really good. I wouldn't know if that was leather or not if someone walked past me in the street wearing these. I think these, they do feel different, and I do think these look slightly better, but really, if someone was just walking past, you would not pay that much attention, and I think they are similar enough in the shininess and in terms of like how the leather looks. In terms of noticeable differences, the only thing that really jumps out to me is the fact that on the Vagabond boots, the seam on the outside of the shoe is just a straight line down. The Primark one has that detailing with almost the panel cut out of it. Also on the Vagabond boot, it does have the branded emblazoned leather logo. So you can tell if you know what you're looking for, and if you're walking around staring at people's shoes, you can look for that, and then you know it is genuine Vagabond. But overall, super similar. Part two is going to be comfort and fit. So I am a size 4, generally speaking. Sometimes I'm a size 3 in certain brands, and sometimes I've been a size 4.5 up to a 5. But generally speaking, I'm a size 4, and I bought both of these in a size 4. And what I noticed is when you hold them side by side, the Vagabond pair just seem larger. The Vagabond pair seem wider, and they're certainly longer. You can see the toe comes out quite a lot longer. That's the Primark that's the Vagabond, but they both do fit my feet really well. So I don't really know how that's happened. Maybe it's because the leather of the Vagabond version is a lot thicker, so it just looks wider. It goes without saying that the Vagabond boots feel better on and feel better to wear. What I will say is that the toe being so long and so severe on these ones, sometimes when I've been walking I have actually caught them as I've been taking a step, and so the front of the shoe has like caught on the pavement as I've been walking. I haven't worn these ones out yet because they are just so new, but because they are slightly shorter in the toe, maybe that won't happen as much. And then the inside of the Vagabonds, they just feel like the support is a lot better, the sole is a lot nicer, it probably has a lot better support for your arches, and it definitely feels more cushioned than the inside of the Primark ones, which is obviously to be expected. Part 3 is pricing. So let's talk about how much each pair cost. The Primark pair were £18 at full price. I bought them in the sale, of course, and so they were down to £7, which absolute bargain, absolute bargain. I simply could not leave them there. And to be honest with you, I think for Primark, if I saw them at full price at £18, I'd probably think that was quite expensive. But realistically, for how they feel and how they look, the finish is really nice, and I think they look a lot more expensive than £18. And if you saw someone wearing them in the street, you'd probably think they cost a lot more. They could have cost anywhere from like £50 to £80 in my opinion. I think they look like genuine leather, and I think the heel is really nice and sophisticated, and I think the pointy toe is just gorgeous as well. So then obviously to get them for £7 reduced, that's amazing for me, and it's definitely the kind of thing I'm going to be looking out for when money starts to get tighter at the end of this year. The Vagabonds were a treat to myself. I saved up for them because I wanted a pair of boots like this for such a long time, and I'm definitely consciously trying to spend more money on items, then they'll last longer and they're just better quality, they're going to be more durable, and they're going to last me a lot longer, and they're like an investment for my wardrobe. So these are £145 on the Shoe website, and you can buy them direct from Vagabond and probably other websites, but I ordered them from Shoe because the warranty, the 365-day guarantee against manufacturing faults, is what drew me in, just in case anything went wrong. And especially when you're spending such a huge amount of money on shoes, you want to know that if anything does go wrong, you're covered. So £145 for genuine leather, well made, although the last pair were faulty, so that's an interesting thing to note. I haven't had any problems with the Primark ones, but that's because I haven't worn them out yet, and I did have some problems with the Vagabond ones, but I did wear them to work, which is like a 2-mile walk, and I wore them in the rain. And is that possibly what made them start letting water in, because I like wore them out but in less than 2 months? It's definitely something to think about. So then this kind of leads me on to the next part, which is durability and longevity. I'm thinking that the Primark ones are going to be my day-to-day run around boots, and when they get all battered and they need to go in the bin, then they'll go in the bin. I'm going to save the Vagabond ones for really special occasions like dates or Christmas or going out for really nice dinners, and I just want to try and keep them as special as possible because of how much they cost. However, in saying that, I don't think the Primark ones are going to last too well. I've got plenty of boots from Primark, and to be honest, they're not that bad, but they definitely start to look quite scruffy after not a very long time. The Vagabond, I hope and pray that they will last me a really, really long time and I won't have any other problems. And also, I guess with the Vagabonds, because they are genuine leather, I'm probably going to have to invest in some sort of like leather care products to keep them looking lovely and shiny. Shoe polish probably, which isn't something I've ever had to think about because I've never had a pair of like really expensive shoes. Although I've been wearing Doc Martens for years and I've never looked after them properly. And then the Primark ones, they are going to take minimal upkeep because they're just like PU. And then the only other thing I would mention just at the end of this video is that I do think there are like ethical considerations. Primark are not the most sustainable. Maybe we should be investing and spending more money on more expensive things that come from designer brands which use more ethically sourced products. I don't know like how these are made. I don't really know how these are made. It's not something I've looked into, but it's definitely something to think about. And it's also not just the materials that the shoes are being made from, it's also the conditions of the workers who are actually making the shoes for us to buy. So in conclusion, considering I discovered this amazing dupe and I'm so proud of doing it, do I recommend either of these? Yes, I recommend them both. That's why I have both in my cupboard, and that's why I bought this secondary pair, because I think in terms of value for money and the look that you get for these cheaper Primark high street versions, I don't think you can go wrong with that. I think these would last the average wearer a really decent amount of time. You could wear them to work, you can wear them out the weekends. I'm very interested to see how they hold up, especially because it's really cold weather at the moment. It's a little bit wet and drizzly, and I'm excited to see how they hold up. And of course I recommend these. These are my favourite shoes that I've ever bought, and I'm so proud to have them in my wardrobe. I'm so proud when I'm doing my outfit posts on Instagram, I'm tagging Vagabond Shoemakers left, right and centre. I do think they're expensive, but I do think they're an investment. And Vagabond is just one of my favourite brands ever. I've had shoes from them before. They were a Christmas present though, and it was like 10 years ago, so I didn't buy them, but I've always loved them as a brand. And honestly, if you're a brand and you're Swedish and you say anything about minimalism or like Scandi influence, I will buy something from you because I'm a sucker. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think they are good dupes for one another? Do they even look similar, or have I just been hallucinating this whole video? Thank you so much for watching this deep dive comparison video. I hope you found it helpful and informative. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all very soon in the next video.